Hi there, my name is Kenny Boulder, and this is a video review of one of the books I've been reading recently, The High Kahl's Oath here by Gave Thorpe. So I've been reading this book here for the past few months, finished it recently, and decided I'm going to do a new series of reviewing Warhammer 40k novels. Because as you know, I'm a huge Black Library lore master of sorts. I read as many Warhammer 40k books as I can get my hands on, and I got a hard copy of this guy and decided I was going to read it. So, read it through and through, and basically it's our first introduction of the Leagues of Votann lore. So this book introduces our new dwarves, the squats, or they like to call themselves the kin. And the kin are basically, they're basically squats. They live in the intergalactic core of the galaxy, and they're they're basically clones. And so, this is just basically conversations and some reviews about what I liked about this book, what I didn't like about this book, and if you want to see more Warhammer 40k videos like this, let me know, because I plan to focus more on this now side, just because this is kind of like my hobby, this is kind of my passion, which is Warhammer 40k. So right off the bat, I just want to say I enjoyed this book. I would give this book about a 3.5 out of 5 stars first in the get-go. Overall, it does introduce a new faction. It's our first faction of the Leagues of Votann, and a lot of the characters, a lot of the the units of the Leagues of Votann are heavily referenced and introduced. And this is what Gave Thorpe does a lot. He basically talks about the units, about what these guys do. Prospectors or prospecting, hearthkin or at the hearth. It kind of is you gotta introduce the characters, you gotta introduce the lore. So as an introduction to the lore, it is pretty good. I think where I'm kind of not too sold is the plots. And this is where I'm going to say spoilers. Spoilers are going to be coming in from here now. Overall, the main two plots of the story, just kind of, so some of it is good. I like the aspect of the journey, the hero's journey. So the oath, if you're curious what the oath is you must recover this person and come back. So the oath was given by the previous High Kahl of the Starforge of the kin. Let's just go over this real quick. So they're part of the kindred of the Eternal Starforge. This is their kindred, their hold. A hold ship is basically an equivalent of all of the kin's it's like their home. It could be either permanently located in a planet or an asteroid field, or in this case, the kindred of the Eternal Starforge is a floating spaceship. It's basically a ship that goes through the entire area. And the kindred itself, as noted here, it's part of a league. So the Leagues of Votann are there's numerous leagues. There's 5 named ones here. Greater Thune League, Trans-Hysperian, Urani, Certi Regulates, Chronos Hegemony, and the leagues kind of the more larger forms of the kin's society. I would say the Hyperion Alliance is basically the nation, and the kindred of the Eternal Starforge is a state. So it's a small little part of the greater league itself. And so hold ship. The hold ship is the Unbreakable Giant. And, some of the main characters are introduced here. Myoton Demergot, she's a prospector and becomes the Kindred's High Kahl. And all these characters are introduced as well, including her Lutar. Lutar is the Grand Endeavor's navigator and close companion to the main character, which is Myoton Demergot. And something I should note is that it's kind of all the text in this book is basically as if you're hearing their voices. So when the Imperials are introduced later on in the book series, they save an Imperial fleet being attacked by the Cursed Ones, which are known as Chaos Imperial. It's basically Chaos versus Imperials. They come in, fight off the Chaos forces, and they save the Imperials, and they have a little meeting. All the main characters in the Imperial meetings is as if they were hearing kin or Dwarvish with a heavy Scottish accent. So it was kind of interesting. You kind of see that different texts being played out to you. But anyway, the main characters. Myra and her gang, the Grand of the Endeavor, they go through they basically attacked a Tyranid bioship. And this bioship is seen as an opportunity. So they say that multiple times. Opportunity. Opportunity. So the whole like society of kin is that you're basically clones. So the Votann, the mainframe, they're like the basically the ancestor cores. They're arguably could be, STCs, standard template construction stuff. They're basically like gods to the kin. And so the kin or clones or ironkin. Ironkin are basically introduced as robots with like they basically act like Iron Men, I would say, men of iron, but they're good. So the ironkin and the clones, they work hand in hand. So Lutar, the ironkin, is like lovers to Mygrot and my turn. I can't say her name. I'm sorry if you're watching this for pronunciations. I apologize. So they're friends. They've known each other for decades, for centuries. Myra is then chosen as the High Kahl. So the Leagues of Votann, the mainframes, they basically sent out like 3 units. There's 3 of them in the book. And they're like, we want the next High Kahl is the one who has traveled the furthest of all the kin. And they chosen Myra because she's like a prospector. She is basically a kin who's like, her job's to go outside of the cosmos, and she looks for opportunity. So again, we kind of feed into the dwarven kind of like stereotype of like there's out there trying to mine things, and so they literally are mining a Tyranid bioship. When another kin shows up, he's like a champion of sorts, and he's like, "Hey, I'm here to get you guys back to the hold ship." So that happens. And basically, the other subplot revolves around a guildsman. So this guildman, his name is Lecky. Lecky is a guildsman. See, and I don't like that. Doesn't say anywhere. So the other plot is the guild is basically trying to get something from the kindred of the Eternal Starforge. So Lecky is like a guy with barely any beard. He's there with this other ironkin. She's like a robot, and they're just trying to make a deal. And long story short, Mitrin comes back to the hold ship, and she's basically like given like a hero's welcome because she's gonna be the new High Kahl. And effective immediately, she's like, you know what? I am gonna take charge. And we mentioned the previous champion of the High Kahl. He comes up to her and he's like, hey, I want you to basically fulfill the previous High Kahl's oath. And that's the oath. The oath of the High Kahl is we have to go to another part of the universe. So they go through a wormhole. They go through like a thing called the Veil of Utin, something like that. And it's basically like a wormhole. And it's surrounded by chaos ships, etc. And as they go through the wormhole, they lose 1 ship. They start off 4 ships. They lose 1, so 3 make it through. And I should note that this time there's a psyker. So it's mentioned in the lore that kin are not that attuned to the warp. They don't have like spirits or souls, but some kin obviously are tuned to the warp. So one of the main characters is Jortki. She's a Grimnar, and the Grimnar, they're kind of like a tech priest. They're kind of like they're good with technology. And so they control a thing called the Fane. And the Fane is basically a connection to the main frames of the Votann, which is, again, the ancestor, of course. So Jorki guides him through the Veil, or the well of Urdur. And then they basically then go through an adventure of seeing, like, the previous hold. So, and this is where, I like the story. The story's fun. Basically, we're finding a long-lost dwarven kin hold, and we're trying to figure out why are there orcs there, and what happened here. Like, they discovered it's been there for so long that they're calling us to visit, and lost technologies, and it's super rare. But overall, that's kind of the gist of it, is that they go into the wormhole, they go to another part of the galaxy, and they find orcs around. They have to fight off the orcs, and so we go through this process of fighting the orcs, battling orcs, sending folks in. And as this is happening, back to the Lecky, the guildmaster. He's decided that he's going to take down all the shields of the hold ship. So the hold ship and all the kin of the Eternal Starforge, they're going to another area for an opportunity. Basically, they're going to collect minerals of some kind at like the edge of like a black hole. So I thought that was kind of cool because the whole ship's leaving, they're going there, but they're being attacked. They're attacked by a chaos fleet. So the cursed ones are being attacked by the cursed ones, and this is happening. Lecky decides that I should try to fix the shields because I turned them off. And so his subplot is that he's trying to turn on the shields, and then now we're going back and forth between Lecky and Merton and all the gang on the other side of the galaxy. At one point, they do like a weighing of like stones. It's like a symbolic moment where all the kin are able to vote on like a decision. So they bring out like this two weighing things, and each member depending on your title, they get to like say what we should do. Apparently the Kahl gets the last to be voicing them, and they basically give their speeches, and then they kind of like cast like various minerals or the weights onto like the little like thingamajigs, and then it kind of like decides what they're gonna do. Because at this time they learned that the whole ship is being attacked by the cursed ones or the chaos forces, and so they're like figuring out they should leave and go back, or they should stay and carry on with the oath. And so that's all happening at the same time, and it's kind of fast paced. It's like one moment the fleet's under attack, the next orcs attack, and so you get some bolter porn. I like to call it bolter porn. It's this action. It's like torpedoes, people are killing each other, orcs are showing up everywhere, and it's just like bolter porn at this point. And so we're introduced with one key thing is that the previous champion, he's like seeing ghosts. And it turns out the reason why he's seeing ghosts is an actual Votann is there on the planet. And the Votann is like seeking help. It's seeking to like get rescued by the kin. So it's the reason why I sent out this message. And apparently the ring, there's another plot is the ring. The previous Kahl had a ring, and that ring is like owed by the guild, and so you need the ring. The guild wants that ring back because it basically takes messages from the Votann themselves. So they find the ring, things are good. They message back, to the gang back on the other side of the hold ship, and the shields are back on, and the day is saved. And also I should mention, the Imperial fleet, they come in and save the day. So the Imperials that were saved by Merton Dammer got, they come back in, and they're like, we're here to save the whole ship. And so they fight against the Chaos Fleet as well. And I should note that everyone that's an Imperial hates, they look at them, at the kin as with suspicion. They don't trust them. Because Mammergot mentions as well, they've actually been attacked by the kin as well. So the Leagues of Votann and the Imperial Man are not like enemies, but they're not friends either. It's kind of like a allies of convenience situation. They'll help each other out. But at one point, Merton mentions that the Imperials always have like bounties and stuff. So they're like always offering bounties to fight chaos ships, and they have to require like proof to give like your payments, because in the dwarves mindset, the kin mindset, it's all about opportunity, making money, giving back to the Votann and to the Leagues. And I think something to note as well, another world building thing I really enjoyed is that they actually take, if you can take your brain, you actually go back into the Votann system itself. So their afterlife is like basically recycled. Your memories, your moments that you live is basically then given to the machine, the mainframes. So they're mentioning this throughout, like how they collect the dead and make sure that if they can collect their heads, then the heads are then transported back, and then I guess they're recycled and they become part of like the greater Votann like mainframe. So anyway, throughout this encounter, they get the ring, they beat the orcs, they take the Votann back. Lure actually decides, I don't know why, but imagine like your space navigator, like your chief of staff. He decides to go down the planet. He gets hurt. He gets injured. He doesn't die though, and I don't think a single named character died besides the first Kahl. I think all the main characters live actually. So I was expecting someone to die, but none of them did. So all these characters live, I guess, throughout the whole process, and all the ships are available. Actually, no, THA C342 is lost to the warp. So that ship is gone, but all the other ships, they make it through the warp. And yeah, no, Myron Damergot, she makes it through. And oh yeah, this is go with the lore there. So Iron Master Lecky, yeah, that's right. Lecky then gets the shields on. They save the day. Everything's good. Decision waiting. So Lecky is damaged, or sorry, Looter is damaged by the war boss, but he fights off. She fights off. The war boss is defeated. The Kin's Fane is activated. And they locate a map of the Lost Votann, and it's one of the original cores, being the oldest of the leagues. So they basically say the whole league's gonna go find this Votann, and that's kind of like the entire story. So it's about adventure. It's about an expedition. It's a little bit about like some revenge. I would say revenge because they're trying to revenge and. Most of the kin, they're not immortal. I think a lot of that stuff is introduced. The kin are not immortal. They actually have a finite life. Ironkin, the robotic dwarves kin, they can live forever, apparently. And as long as they're like their nexus, like they're part of like their being survives, they can be repaired and come back to life as well. So that's something I should note as well in this video. But overall, I like this book. This book overall, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good book to read. It introduces the Leagues of Votann in a way. It took them 2 years to make this. The Leagues of Votann were introduced like 2 years ago in 2022. So our first book, our first bit of lore that isn't in a White Dwarf magazine. And that's my review. So again, 3.5 stars out of 5 for this book. It introduces the Leagues of Votann. The story is pretty generic, but that's okay. We're starting on like a bare bones structure, so nothing too revealing. It's kind of cool to see another faction in real time. So we have a new faction, and overall, I enjoyed it. So if you think I should make more of these videos, let me know. If you think you have a different opinion, let me know as well in the comments. So again, it's your boy Kenny Boulder. I appreciate you guys watching. Have a great night and take care.